Raise the roof, ladies and gentlemen, for the fantastic Mr. Andrew Ryan. Here he is. Great.
Yes, hello London, how are you? You all right? Good, nice to be here, great, yes. Laughing already at the voice. Great, nice to be here. My name's Andrew, I come from Europe, and because, you know, they're the people that own us now, you know, so it's good to be here. And I've come up with a great way, right? What you should do is how you should deal with your bank, right? And that is to be nice to them. Because the nicer you are to your bank, the more they can't deal with it, right? I'll give you an example. My bank in Ireland, the Bank of Ireland. What a naming ceremony that was. My bank and I have been looking for me for about 6 months, right? They've been ringing me up, sending me letters through the post, making me feel bad about using the overdraft, right? That's what they do, making me feel bad. They gave me the overdraft, I used it. You'd think they'd fucking look at themselves first before they start having a go at me, right? You wouldn't put a heroin addict into a factory full of heroin, would you? And then say to him, right now, don't be touching the fucking thing. Of course I'm going to use the overdraft, right? And the best way to deal with your bank is to have a bit of fun with them, because if they've messed us about, we can mess them about. Because you've got to remember something, right? That banks need something off us before they can speak to us. They need to get us, right, to confirm our personal details, our security questions. So I've decided that every time I spoke to this fella from the Bank of Ireland, every time he asked me a security question, I would give him all the wrong answers. And they'll never be able to speak to you ever again, right? That's what you do, right? So this guy rings me up from the Bank of Ireland, Dublin, Brian now, proper fucking bellend, right? You know the kind of scarf, the kind of guy that drinks Malibu and milk. You know, one of those. He rings me up, right, and he goes, hello, Mr. Ryan, this is Brian here from the Bank of Ireland in Dublin, how are you? And I was actually, do I need to do another Irish accent on top of the one I'm doing at the moment? Are you happy with the current one? Right, okay. So he goes, hello, Mr. Ryan, this is Brian here from the Bank of Ireland, Dublin. I said, Jesus, Brian, how are things? He says, we need to talk to you about your account. Jesus, Brian, this sounds serious. He says, before I continue, I need to ask you some security questions. Fucking fire away, kid. There is no way I can lose this phone call, right? He says, before I continue, can you just confirm to me what your current date of birth is? I was like, what, the current date of birth, Brian? Jesus, I wrote it down there somewhere last week. I don't know what I did with it. So I just give him the wrong answers. It's, Jesus, no, it's the 1st of July, 1990. Could be true love. He says, oh, no, that's not on the system. Jesus, Brian, I'm fucking gutted for you. Can I go again? He says, I'm very sorry. I can only accept your first answer. He says, well, I'll have to ask you another question. How long have you got? He says, can you confirm to me the first line of your address? I said, 6. There'd be 6. He said, yeah, but like, you know, what comes after that? I said, Jesus, Brian, that'd be the second line then, wouldn't it? He said, yeah, what's the second line? What's the second line? I said, I'm sorry, Brian, I can only accept your first question. You know, you've got your policies, I've got mine, you know. And you see, you gotta understand, right? He starts getting a bit pissed off with me on the phone, you know. He's getting really fucking wound up, like. And he's saying, like, you know, excuse me, Mr. Wright, can I just say something to you? You have a responsibility as a customer of this bank that if any of your personal details change or get updated, you have a responsibility to inform us. I said, I just have. I've just told you my new date of birth. He says, I'm sorry, but that's not compatible on the system. That doesn't match up with the system. I said, well, what system are you on? Because I'm on the Xbox. You on PlayStation 3 or what? He gets really arsey with me. Now, you got to remember this time, London, right? You got to remember, as I'm on the phone to this fella, right? He knows who he's talking to. He knows who I am. He knows who he's talking to. And I know who he's talking to. Because he's talking to me. But he has to pretend that he doesn't know who he's talking to until he gets me to confirm who I am. Now, I've bailed out the Bank of Ireland before, and I ain't bailing these fuckers out anymore. So he goes away and he comes back. He goes away and he comes back and he says, listen to me, Mr. Ray. He's panicking now at this stage, right? He's probably wearing a scarf indoors. He says, listen to me, Mr. Ryan. He said, look, it's very simple. He says, it's very simple. He says, we need to take you through security. He said, Jesus, Brian, you know, I really want to go through security. You know, I have gone through security at some of the toughest airports in the world, Brian. Are you telling me you can't take me through security over the phone? I said, would you prefer it if I took my shoes and belt off for you, Brian, would you? Would that help the phone call? Then he says, look, it's like this. He says, I can ask you 2 more questions. I can ask you 2 more questions. And if you get these questions wrong, I'm afraid I'm going to have to terminate the call. Yes. Oh, Jesus, Brian, that's awful, you know. I've waited weeks to speak to you about paying back the overdraft. I've always wanted to make financial arrangements with you, you know. It's an awful shame, really, you know. I mean, we've come so far in the call. I'd hate to split it up now, you know. And then I'm thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, this is amazing. I am 2 wrong answers away here from fucking freedom. So he says, you're right, Mr. Ryan. Can you confirm to me what your mother's maiden name is? I said, she never married. He said, I'm afraid I've got a name on the system. I said, are you telling me you know who my dad is? Brian, my father owes me 30 years of Christmas presents. That money alone would pay off the fucking overdraft, Brian. It's in your interest to release the fund. The name, Brian, come on. Who is me dad, Brian? It's not like a game of who do you think you are at this stage. Who's me father? He says, look, I can't, this is getting ridiculous. This is getting ridiculous. I said, Brian, you've told me my mother got married, right? This is ridiculous. I haven't been found. I'm 30 years old. Where the hell is this? He goes, look, I've got to ask you one final question. I said, just fucking better be good. He says, look, he says, it's like this. He says, you need to confirm to me what the balance is in your current account, what the balance is in your current account. Now, the reason he rang me up was because I was 50 euros overdrawn. So I used the overdraft and I fucking abandoned it, right? Just like my father did, right? Just abandoned it, right? So I was minus 50. So he says to me, right, Mr. Ryan, final question. I said, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. I'm doing my best. He says, can you confirm to me the balance in your account? The balance in your account. I said, right, here we go. So, Jesus Christ, here we go. Jesus, Brian, I've got about 4,500 euros in it. He said, I'm afraid that's not correct. I said, what the fuck have you done with my money, Brian, eh? You don't like it when the shoe's on the other foot now, do you, dickhead? Where's me dad and where's me money, Brian? Don't hang up on me now, son. He says, I'm afraid we're going to have to write you. I said, great. Well, what address are you going to send a letter? He said, I can't tell you that. I said, why that? He said, I don't know who you are. And that's what you got to do, you know?